Heather Jackson, welcome to Chamonix.
Oh my goodness. I'm here. I made it.
Nice to see you. How long have you guys been here?
We were supposed to get in Thursday. We got in Friday. Yeah. So a few days now.
A few days to shake off the jet lag.
I would say it's still here a little bit, but
yeah, I mean, as somebody who's raced professionally across multiple sports, are there any tips or tricks to the whole travel shenanigans? It's probably much easier than traveling with a TT bike now, huh?
True. Less equipment. We've had more issues, I think, this trip, unfortunately, just with cancellations. But I don't know, tips. Just try to get on the time change as quick as you can. Force yourself up.
Well, it's so awesome to have you here at UTMB for the first time. You're going to be racing OCC on Thursday. So
racing in quotes.
Racing. You're going to be racing. I think you probably only know one speed when you're on anything that resembles a race course. And it's going to be a new experience for you. And I'm excited to talk about it. But maybe let's start with the last time we saw each other, which was at Western States. And no, it was a disappointment for you. So just tell us about how that day went and how you're thinking about it now with a little perspective in the aftermath. What'd you learn? What went wrong?
Yeah, Western States was certainly one of the biggest, I'd say, disappointments of the year. And I can't even say because of the result, because I didn't even get a result, but just the day and never even thinking of what happened as a possibility. For listeners, I wasn't able to finish. I think I had to pull the plug at just before Michigan Bluff, which Eldorado.
Which means you still had to walk up to Michigan Bluff.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah. So basically Michigan Bluff. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I've done that before too, if it makes you feel any better. Yeah.
Oh, that does make me feel better. I mean, I think it was just, I thought I had trained, I was fit, but I was not. Yeah, that was a whole nother level of experience out there. And I think from having the snow that we had, and in my mind, I'm like, oh yeah, I run in the snow in winter in Bend, but I mean, trying to run hard on that snow for 20 miles was probably way more taxing than maybe I factored in, on top of then being more fatigued that early on to get onto, I know I'll use the term technical, but rockier trails earlier on in that course. And combined with, I was with a group of amazing women who went on to finish up there. I was with Emily Hoggood, Taylor Nowlin, Keeley. There was a group of us. And I think just having the competitiveness that I have, it was literally like, stay with them, just stay with them. And I was so caught up with like being with them and not getting dropped. And the second there was a downhill, I was getting dropped, and I would panic and try to go faster than I think I'm technically capable of right now. And I would trip and fall. And I went down a couple times early, made it, and eventually ended up losing those women that I was with early on. Made it through Robinson Flat, made it on the flat dirt road downhill part smoothly, and then kind of got onto this section that is like cutbacks. Yeah. And it was loose. I wouldn't say it was technical.
There, which is known as like the infamous hardest part of the Western States course.
Okay. Yeah. That makes me feel better. Yeah. But it was loose. It was pretty sandy with some loose rocks underneath. And I was again, just trying to go faster than I probably should have on a cutback area. And my right side slid out, and I thought I tweaked my hammy worse than it ended up being. And then when I landed on the other side, I completely just rolled my ankle all the way over, and it was pretty bad.
Tough day.
Yeah.
Do you attribute it mostly to just like skill development is like kind of what you need? Obviously, like the aerobic capacity, the competitiveness is something that, you know, you have in spades and that comes second nature to you as a longtime professional athlete. It's just like getting used to the different terrain, right? Because it's your second 100 miler, but it's a totally different race than Javelina, right?
Oh, totally. Yeah. Totally different race and totally different attitude. For me, it was the Kona of the year. And I knew all those women going in. I mean, I've watched them race and I admire them, and they're the best in the sport. And I was in there with them, and it was just like way over my skill level. And I should have and we were only 30 miles in. I mean, I should have just toned it down a bit, knowing it's such a long day. Maybe when the trails did get a little bit more runnable, I could have, gone to work then later in the day. I mean, so many things through my mind of like, you should have done this, you should have done that. You shouldn't have just panicked and, been way over, I think, your head. So
yeah, well, I think just like, it's a learning experience for you. You're still new at this, right? I mean, you're racing at the biggest stage in the world at Western States, and now you're here at UTMB for the first time doing OCC. And it's different than triathlon in that, like, even if you're doing 70.3s or full Ironmans in different areas around the world, the courses are more or less the same with slight variations in terms of their difficulty, how fast they are versus how slow they are, et cetera. But here, like, obviously, like, OCC is completely different than the 50K we're going to be putting on in our backyard in Marin. And like CCC is totally different from Black Canyon, which you raced earlier in the year. Similarly, UTMB is completely different from Western States. And that's one of the beauties of our sport that you're also experiencing in your cycling career. And it'll be great to see, your first impressions of UTMB this weekend with OCC. But talking a little bit about cycling now, you've been busy with that too since Western States, and it seems like you've had a couple awesome experiences, specifically at Leadville and Steamboat. So maybe let's talk about both of those. I know you were a little bit intimidated by Leadville after Sea Otter earlier in the year, but it seems like you came away with a lot of pride and good memories from that legendary mountain bike race.
Yeah, it was, I mean, I didn't know what to expect. I was nervous. Leadville is the fourth stop of the Lifetime series that I'm also competing in. And so it was one of those, like, is this one of the ones I skip? Because you're allowed to skip two. But in the end, I was just glad we went because that race was absolutely iconic. It was amazing. I mean, I had an okay day out there given my mountain bike background, which is not a lot, but it was a really, really cool race. And so that was what I enjoyed the most.
I'm just thinking about this now. What's up with that Keegan Swenson guy? I mean, I know you're maybe not as deep in the culture as the people who do come from a mountain biking background, but that seemed like a all-time great performance that he put together.
Next level. Yeah. I mean, the things he did to get that performance out are just, next level. I mean, he and his girlfriend, Sophia, who won the women's side, they were basically rode gravel wheels. Like, they went full blown, all the little things you could do to be, ready for that course and go the fastest on that course. So
unreal. And I guess just for our listeners who are probably confused right now, who know a lot more about the Leadville 100 running race, we're talking about the Leadville 100 bike race.
The coolest thing was I was able to get out on the run course a bit when I was up there. So that was really cool to check out. Yeah, a lot of history on that course too. But just to bring things full circle for the listeners, Keegan Swenson, who won the men's race, broke the course record by 20 minutes or something like that. Absurd. Just an all-time great Courtney DeWalter level performance on the Leadville 100 bike course. But then you went to Steamboat for Steamboat Gravel just like 2 weeks ago, and you came away with, I think, a 6th place ride there. How'd that go? That was another really cool race. That was probably more my wheelhouse. Just rolling gravel roads. So on my gravel bike versus, say, a mountain bike, and just, really good, tough, hard course. It got super hot on the day, but great vibes at that one. They had this cool hill climb the night before, costume and, big party. So really cool event. So we've of course done a bunch of interviews, you and I, this year already. And we're always talking about you balancing the gravel / mountain biking side of your career with the trail and ultra running side of your career. And you're such a fun athlete to follow. And now you're here at UTMB for the first time. So maybe give us a sense of like how you've been, evolving your training after Western States. What sort of time are you putting in on the bike versus running, and any of that specific technical skill work that you talked about after Western States? Yeah, I think, so I couldn't run for about 3 weeks, just rehabbing my ankle. I had to let the ligaments reheal that I tore. A lot of strength work in there, which I do strength work in the off season, but really just getting back to, needing to strengthen the feet and the ankles and be ready for off-road terrain more than I was probably having my body ready for. So fortunately I could ride those first 3 weeks or so after Western States. So kept the bike mileage up. I would say I'm back to about the same, but I've kind of shifted my run training a bit to more working on what I need to work on. And that's the skills that you're talking about. And fortunately, we went out to Leadville early, mostly to acclimate, but also just to get into the mountains and get onto hilly, rocky terrain and get in more of that kind of up and down hiking strength work, running up mountains versus, say, some of the shorter hill repeats I was doing on a gravel road in our backyard in Tucson. So it became very obvious quickly the sort of terrain and I need to be on and the sort of technical skills that really need to be developed. And that will just, hopefully come with time and the practice that I need to put in. So July into August in Colorado, I think was really, really cool just to, okay, this is what trail runners do. Get out on these sort of trails. And maybe move away from that very, I think, triathlon / road marathon specific work, which I'll continue to keep some speed work in there for sure. But at this point, it's very obvious I need to be developing some skills.
Rotate in some mountain training.
Yes.
No, it's great. And now moving towards OCC, I'd love to hear sort of like how you decided to put this race on your calendar, and having been in Chamonix now for a few days, what are your first impressions with not only the landscape, the place, but the vibe of the UTMB festival?
Oh my goodness. Honestly, we've been blown away since the second we got here. I need to give a massive shout out to Hoka, who they asked if I could come over here to work on a separate film project that we've been filming the last few days just around Chamonix and the town and the event ahead. So I had that opportunity to come here, which I was so excited about, even just coming not to race. But I've been building back now for about a month, maybe longer. But for me, I'm here, I'm healthy, the ankle is strong again, and I don't know how else to get technical practice without just going out and seeing what it's like. I mean, if this is an event I want to put on my calendar one year, like I'm here, for me, OCC, yes, I want to race it, but it's more just, I want to see what it's like out there and be a part of it and be a part of this whole week and really just take the whole thing in. So it's more, I think, that mindset coming in for Thursday than.
Have you spent any time on the course?
Just the out and back here from town, but no.
Have you gotten any words of advice or done any of your due diligence about the course? And
I just recently, before this actually, was having breakfast with Hayden Hawks, who kind of walked me through some of the stretches and what is considered more technical or less. I take that all with a grain of salt because my technical is relative, but he kind of walked me through different stretches and a very specific 5 to 10 mile stretch he said is the most technical, including a downhill part. So
it's going to be another fun learning experience for you. The other thing that I'm realizing now, obviously triathlon's sort of equipment intensive, but now you've got to carry mandatory kit for the first time in your trail running career, probably. I don't know if you're planning to use poles or not, but that's also another variable.
I got my pack yesterday, so I packed it up full of everything I need, which I had Waddy run to the store to get a whistle, which was new for me. Whistle, emergency blanket, got the goods, packed it in there, tested out how the pack feels, fully packed down.
Yeah.
I used poles a couple times in Colorado. I've talked to a couple girls though, potential front runners. I mean, Katie Scheid is going to be up there. She, I don't believe she told me at least, I don't know if this was tactic. She said she's not using them. So I'm like, okay, makes me feel better. I could go either way. I probably won't choose to use them.
Yeah. If you're not used to them, you probably shouldn't. And in OCC, if you watch the live broadcast in the professional ranks, fewer athletes in that race do use poles, but in CCC and UTMB, it's 100% ubiquitous for the most part. One of the things that is sort of cliche, but I'd love to ask you about is, you've obviously raced at the highest level in Kona for many years, and this is sort of like the world championship equivalent in our sport. So Any comments about, arriving here? It's still early in race week. The momentum is building up. It's busy in town, but it'll be a little bit more energetic as the week progresses. But any comparisons, similarities and differences between UTMB and Kona?
Yeah, I mean, obviously the similarity is just that it feels like such a world championship event. I mean, Kona's the world championships. Here feels like the same. It's that next level in terms of size and just overall feel out there. I would say that the feeling we've had over the past few days is just, you have that same, this is one of the biggest races on the calendar feel, but everyone is just outside, enjoying each other. And it's 1,000% more relaxed, I would say, than Kona. And the energy there is this nervous, kind of very high intensity, just intense. And here everyone's grabbing coffee, grabbing lunch, grabbing a smoothie, walking around. And it's just relaxing, and everyone's enjoying the community and everything that the week is about. And it just has that more okay, we're all together here in Chamonix for a week, enjoying everything about it. So it's been so far, just incredible.
Amazing. Well, Heather, it's great to see you here and have you here at UTMB for the first time. Maybe as we close, tell the people where, are you going to be doing any events around town or any other Hoka related things that might be on your calendar during race week where folks might be able to see you?
Yeah. Tomorrow at 2 p.m. So Wednesday, 2 p.m. I think there's a big Hoka athlete signing. So it'll be right at the Hoka base camp.
It's a couple meters from where we sit now.
Perfect.
So, yeah.
I think that's the main one. And then I'll race OCC Thursday. And then I can't wait to actually just be able to get out and watch CCC and UTMB on Friday into Saturday.
That's what I was going to ask you. I think, for you and Wadi to drive around on the course on Friday, Saturday, go check out some of the action in the long distance races. Are you curious about CCC or UTMB maybe in the years ahead?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, cool.
I watch all the videos and I'm one day.
Amazing. And I understand that you guys are going to be making a little video about your experience over here at OCC. Wadi's here with his camera now, exactly. So make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. And
thank you. Yeah, everything will try to capture the week as we experience it here.
Amazing. Well, Heather, it's great to have you in the sport. Great to have you here at UTMB. Good luck at OCC.
Thank you so much, Dylan.